The general election will happen on November 3rd.
Do you think every state in this country should be prepared for mail-in voting?
No, because I think a lot of people cheat with mail-in voting. I think people should vote with ID, voter ID. You go to a booth and you proudly display yourself. You don't send it in the mail.
You heard him at the top there, the president expressing confidence that November's general election will not be delayed by coronavirus. This as he navigates the country through the crisis while at the same time running for re-election. In a new article, my next guest says the president has turned the abandoned briefing room into a new stage and he's making it must-see TV. Joining me now is Michael Kruse, senior staff writer with Politico. Michael, big welcome to you. So the question is, have these daily task force briefings become Trump's kind of his alternative to his campaign rallies? And if so, how effective do you think it is?
Absolutely. These briefings are his new rallies. And in some sense, they're, at least for him, far better than the rallies. The rallies were never about transmitting information. And you can make the argument that nor are these briefings. They are the latest show within the show overall that is the Trump presidency. And whereas the rallies had started to feel a little bit stale, they might have been new for the people who were in those respective arenas, but the TV had sort of dropped off. Not as many people were watching them, and everyone watching these briefings. The ratings are high, and he loves those ratings. The central gambit for the entire adult existence of Donald Trump has been that those who get the most attention are those who are the winners. And by that measure, you can see these briefings as sort of the centerpiece of his re-election campaign rather than the centerpiece, simply his response to the pandemic.
So this is kind of like a reality TV act here, right, amid this crisis. Is there a finite point, though, do you think, where it won't work for him?
TBD. As I say, this has always been the question: how much attention and how much bad attention potentially is a real problem for Donald Trump. He has plenty of experience, plenty of track record, finding ways out of tight spots in which he had a ton of bad publicity. And obviously, this is apples and oranges. He's dealing with a global health crisis. But if there is a person on planet Earth who can spin his way out of this and come out with something resembling a victory, it is Donald Trump. And again, these briefings are free airtime. And we can discuss and debate that, and I'm sure we will. But
you know what, Michael, in terms of the free airtime, in fact, there's concern over the reach as well of these daily briefings. I want you to listen to what veteran journalist Carol Simpson told MSNBC's AM Joy just a little bit ago. It happened last week. Here's that.
He is having these coronavirus task force press briefings right at the time local news is playing its biggest shows between 5 and 6 o'clock. And he is preempting. All these shows are being preempted. My daughter's a medical correspondent for WBZ here in Boston, and she has been preparing stories all day long. And then the president comes on, and it knocks off the local news. They stay on till 7 o'clock. So the local stations are losing money because they can't run the commercials that were bought for that time period. And the local folks that are expecting their local news on are getting Trump, Trump, Trump the whole time.
So the timing of these, is it strategic? There are those who've suggested that the president's late afternoon, early evening Sunday task force briefings are intended to bleed into the coveted time slot of 60 minutes.
Really important to note here that when these first started and when he inserted himself on the center of that stage, at this point a few weeks back, they typically were in the middle of the day. They were in the noon hour. They started to get later and later in the afternoon, and now they're nudging into prime time at times. They've also gotten longer and longer. At first, they were under an hour. Now they are approaching 2 hours, and just the other night went past 2 hours. He is, I think, intentionally, and some reporting has shown this, putting these briefings at that time of the day, in that particular time of day for this purpose, to preempt other things and to nudge himself into prime time. He is a master of television and of the attention economy, and we see that in this severe context as well.
Yeah, indeed. We have to give him that, the reality TV president for sure.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.